Good afternoon, fellow recreational therapy students and professor in LEI 4940. My name is Melissa Pinate. I am a senior student with the recreational therapy program, completing my summer B session second 160-hour rotation. The type of agency that I did my internship in this summer is an assisted living memory care with 14 residents. The name of the agency is Grand Oaks Assisted Living Facility in Jensen Beach, Florida. A brief background about Jensen Beach Grand Oaks Assisted Living Memory Care is we provide a facility where the residents are well taken care of by VNA nurses, and our job is to make their day interesting and give them stimulation of all of their senses. So our activities program runs on an hourly schedule every day, Monday through Sunday. With this specific population, my biggest struggle was getting used to everybody's different cycle. What I've noticed is that with about 60% of the residents that we have, everybody goes through a cycle. It may be a 2-day cycle, a 3-day cycle, or one resident who has a 4-day cycle that we've observed. Now, of course, this isn't anything that's medically diagnosed. It's just the way that the dementia or the Alzheimer's affects this specific resident. But we noticed that, let's say, for example, a 2-day cycle resident would go 2 days being very, very happy, want to participate in activities, but then on the 3rd day, they want to be away from everybody else and they don't want to interact. Sometimes they get aggressive or combative towards people who they normally get along with very, very well or enjoy being around. So the way that we overcome these kinds of challenges where residents are going through their bad end of the cycle or the 2 or the 3 days where they don't want to be involved with other residents or they may become aggressive or combative against CNAs or activity staff or even other residents that they get along with on any other day is to just isolate them, not just leave them alone in a room with little trinkets and whatnot, but we give them a task that they can perform on their own that still stimulates them mentally, physically, cognitively, and it kind of gets their mind off of whatever they're thinking that may be aggravating them. Of course, sometimes this doesn't work, and you just have to help them calm down, maybe put on a good movie. What I've noticed is with memory care and Alzheimer's residents, they really, really enjoy watching nature documentaries that have a lot of movement going on, different animals, different colors, different sounds, and that really helps to calm them down when they're going through that bad end of the cycle. The most effective recreational therapy activity facilitation technique that I used with this particular population that I worked with at this site, I would have to say would be towards the end of this internship, we implemented a lot of multi-sensory activities, and I kind of made a suggestion to my colleague that I was working with in memory care that we could do a sensory box every week that we had a theme. So for example, on our camping themed week where we made s'mores for appetizers and stuff like that for our Friday happy hour that we do, in a box we would put a bunch of little trinkets that would be safe for them to touch that would affect their sensory recall, and then those specific items in that box where they would reach into and have to figure out what it was would be related to camping. So what that would roll into is topics about camping, and then if another resident didn't know what that object was, but another resident did, I would have that resident explain to the other what that specific object could be used for. I really, really like that activity because a lot could stem from it. A lot of stories from residents to other residents stem from it. And we used it for any week that we had a specific theme. So for our camping week, our spa theme week, our Kentucky Derby week, stuff like that. So it's something that you could use multiple times, but always have a different topic. So it's always a different kind of stimulation for the residents. The most challenging activity to plan with the residents in memory care would have to be whenever we did memory trivia or memory activation trivia, where we would have to come up with questions that weren't too easy, where the resident would not be entertained by these questions because it wasn't making them think hard enough, and where it wasn't too hard, where they wouldn't know anything about the topic at all, or if the topic wasn't something that would be easy for them to recall. A difficult facilitation technique for us was, I would have to say, is assessment. When you look at the definition where you're assessing the strength and the needs of the individual clients identified through the Bradford Words assessment, I would have to say that assessment was difficult because each person in memory care changed on a daily basis. Like I was talking about the cycles, some people have a 2-day cycle, 3-day cycle, or a 4-day cycle. You have to assess what this person's needs are when they're at the top end of their cycle, where they're wanting to participate in activities and not combative, and also assess what their needs are when they may be combative and don't want to be around other residents or facilitators. One thing that you learn quickly in memory care when I'm thinking of this question where it's asking me what a single greatest moment is that I had during this internship is you have to think in memory care, even if you do something with a resident for a good 2 or 3 hours one day prior, because of their loss of their short-term memory, they're probably not going to remember that you did that with them the day prior. So let's say if I had a really good success with a resident doing a puzzle of all things the day before, if I asked them the next day if they would like to finish that with me, they probably will look at me with a little bit of confusion. But going back to the question, probably the single greatest moment I had was during our spa week, where we took the ladies from memory care and we gave them little gift baskets, and instead of letting them take the gift baskets home with them like we could do with assisted living, but for safety reasons, what we did is we used everything from that gift basket with them. So we did an individual spa day with each lady from memory care where they would soak their hands. We had aromatherapy oils and essential oils in the air that they could smell and use that sense. We did sea salt scrubs and coconut oil scrubs in their hands, and they were very happy to see the difference in texture of their hands after they were done with that. Once that was over with, we gave them a hot towel and we took everything off their hands, and then we dried their hands for them. After that, I sat down with a resident and I did her nails for her. And one thing that she told me was that it was very nice to feel appreciated and to feel like she was being cared for by us in a timely basis, where it wasn't something that we were rushing, and it looked like I was enjoying my time with her as much as she was enjoying her time with me. And that is one moment that sticks out for me during this experience. Some other little moments was when they actually remembered my name, or they would call me out by my name to get my attention. And every time that would happen, I would immediately get excited and ecstatic about it, because that's not usually something that happens in memory care for somebody that they've only known for a couple months through my internship. My supervisor, Esther Churchy, has a lot of strengths, and one of her strengths is her enthusiasm and the amount of energy she has. Even if Esther spent the entire night before prepping for an activity, or I know one night she had just come back from a seminar the night before and only had gotten 2 hours of sleep, and then the next day was our big spa party. I would say Esther's greatest strength is always thinking on her toes. She's always thinking of something new for the residents, always something to make the residents happy and keep them stimulated. So she really tries to make the facility something that isn't boring, something that isn't monotone. And she does this by looking at other facilities' calendars. She does this by ordering magazines and always getting different ideas from magazines. Our entire spa party was planned from a magazine idea that she found in, I think, a Homes and Gardens magazine or Women's Health magazine. Um, and I really, really appreciated how she took the time to sit down with me every morning for at least 10 to 20 minutes and talk to me about what was the plan for the day, what would be my goal for the day, what her goal for me was for the day, and what she wanted me to learn throughout the week. Um, Talking about me, I think that my greatest strength when I do become a therapist would be also doing that. I found that towards the end of my second 160-hour rotation, I was able to be creative with my ideas, and I left Grand Oaks with a couple of my ideas that they're actually going to implement. Um, I know during one of our bus trips with memory care, I noticed that a park that we drove through had pavilions that were enclosed and they had guardrails, but they also had fishing rod pole holders. So I talked to a couple of residents on the assisted living side that were independent, and I asked the men if for their men's club day they would like to go fishing. Um, they talked to me about a couple concerns that they thought would shoot down that idea. But once I presented those concerns and that idea to Esther, she has now implemented that activity and she's now preparing for that activity to be done in October when it starts cooling down a little bit. And I will return to Grand Oaks to help them with that activity, even though it's outside of my internship. Um, I'm very excited to become a therapist. I'm very excited to work with this population in the future. I don't know what internship 2 will bring me, but I'm sure I will continue to learn, and every population can always give you information that could be useful with multiple populations throughout my career. Thank you, Professor, for helping me throughout this semester, and good luck to the rest of my recreational therapy students. Good night. Bye.